Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rise with Raluca. This episode is coming to you from my new home office in my new home. So, this is the first time I'm doing anything in the office. Some of my furniture just arrived this week. I have this big, beautiful desk here and a couch. That's everything we have so far. This is going to be guest office. Sorry, office/slash guest room. So the couch is also a bed. So I just have those two items in the office right now. It feels really good. My desk is not in the ideal position that I had envisioned. Like, I actually wanted to have a wall background for when I do videos. So I wanted the desk to be more in the middle of the room because this way the background is a door and some of the space, which I don't love, but we're gonna work with it. We're gonna play with different things. Maybe I'll even be able to record some videos and things on the couch, and that will provide a different background. We're just gonna play around with it. And now I also need to find some bookcases and decide where those go, because there's a few spaces in the room they can go. But yeah, it's just a very exciting time right now over here. I really um, wanted to create weekly podcasts, but it's just been a busy time right now where we've been in the house for 3 weeks, also 25 weeks pregnant. So there's a lot of changes. So I am going to get more into a groove and share things more often because there's a lot of things I want to share, a lot of things I want to teach, but I'm also just going with the flow of life and not overwhelming anything. So, yeah, we've been in the house for 3 weeks now. I really, really love it. It feels so expansive being here. I'm so grateful. Finally unpacked the kitchen over the past weekend. It took a little bit because there was some like remaining pieces that needed homes, and finally unpacked my closet over to the weekend. So it took like 2 weeks for me to like actually unpack my clothes, but I have a beautiful built-in walk-in closet. My husband and my dad um, really did most of the work with the built-in. I made the drawers, which felt really fun, and now I have so much space to organize my clothes, and all of my jewelry and purses can be all in one space, and I'm just really grateful for it all. So right now I am just enjoying a matcha green tea. It's bone broth matcha. It's delicious. And we are going to have a chat today about friendships. So um like I said, I'm going to do more podcast episodes, a little try to do them more often. And I do have to give you guys a catch up on the second trimester and things that came with that. But I want to switch things up, right? Like, we're just not gonna talk just about the pregnancy journey. We're gonna talk about all different things in life and how to show up for things from a higher perspective, how to have an understanding of things from a higher perspective and an energetic perspective. Because when we bring the energy in, that can really soften our view on things and help us understand that we are not victims. So that is one of my main teachings, that you are not the victim. You are in charge of your life, and whatever is happening is a lesson and it's an opportunity to grow. And when you own your energy, you can transform what is happening. When you own your energy and your part in whatever is happening, you can change your energy, and then it changes your reality. And that is the basis of everything. So, today we're going to talk specifically about friendships and why, when you're on a growth journey, why friendships change, drift, or break up. Because this is really, really hard. Honestly, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when your friendships go through a breakup. It's heartbreaking when you like love your friends and then you drift apart. It's not the same anymore, and it really brings up a lot of things. It brings up pain, self-doubt, wondering if you're going crazy, all of these different things. This is something I've seen a lot of my clients go through. This is something I've gone through myself. I've gone through friendships drifting up. I've gone through heartbreaking friendship breakups. And honestly, it's not easy, but I do think it's all in the highest good and it's all okay. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the energetic perspective on it and the practical perspective on it, why this happens. So, we have this expectation with friendships that they're kind of meant to last forever, right? Like we fully understand that in relationships, you kind of like date people, and some relationships work out. Well, just not some, usually. Yeah, some relationships work out and some don't. Um, there's like this expectation, like you don't expect that you're just going to date one person and that's going to be it and that's going to be your person for the rest of your life. Like that does happen, it's beautiful. um but right, most of the time you have multiple relationships and that's normal. But with friendships, it's like we kind of have this belief that you are going to have the same friends for life. Like childhood friends are just going to go on through your life, or you make a friend and they're going to be there for the rest of your life once they're your friend. But it's not like that. And the reason why, and like we have to normalize that, because you are not the same person you were when you were 8, 10, 15, 20. You're not the same person you were like 5 years ago. If you're on a growth journey, I certainly am not the same person I was 5 years ago. I don't even think I'm the same person I was last year, and that's totally fine. But as you grow and change, you don't have the same values anymore. You don't have the same desires anymore. What you want in your life changes. What is important to you changes. And the chances that everybody in your life is going to grow in the same direction, or like choose the same values, choose the same desires, or have those things in common are very, very low. And it doesn't mean that you can't respect each other, and honor each other in that journey and still stay connected, but it does mean that things will change, right? So if you have your friend, but you go down totally different paths and you're starting to have different values and different ways you want to spend your time and different things that are important to you, you can absolutely still love and respect and honor each other and still connect. But it's not going to be on the same level because you're not connecting on those values that are important to you, and that is totally fine. I also want to say that men and women friendships, like male and female friendships, are different. Women in friendships and in their relationships need kind of that deep connection. Women talk about like what's on their heart and they want to feel safe and loved and held and seen in our relationships. We crave a deep connection. We crave the safe spaces. We crave to just like go to the depths, right? Friendships between men are kind of different. To me, they seem more lighthearted and easygoing, just from what I've been observing. Like they share jokes and stories and like share memes and whatever. And it doesn't mean that they also need a safe space and to share what's going on for them as well. But I don't feel like it's their default. So I feel like men and women friendships are different, and I feel like men have an easier time holding on to friendships long term just because of how they are, because of how they connect. But for women, I feel like it's harder because we crave another level of connection in our friendships. So, we're going to talk about today why our friendships change, why they drift apart, why they break up. We're going to talk about the fears and beliefs that this can bring up while you're going through friendship changes, friendship breakups, some signs that your friendships are drifting apart, and some different levels of friendship connections. as well as what to do to call in more aligned friendships. I'm just going to have a sip of my matcha. Okay, so the when you're on a growth journey, and a spiritual growth journey, it can be very lonely. I'm not gonna lie, it really can, because you're going through changes. You're realizing that things in your life no longer fit, and that you want to change them, but you don't know what fits yet, and you don't know where you fit in, and you feel like nobody understands you. People on their growth journey often feel like the black sheep in their family, and this is something I've guided many clients through. This is something I've been through myself. And honestly, it's not easy. But the important thing is to remember that your people are out there, and the more you embody yourself, the more those people will come to you, and you will find your community, and you will find those aligned friendships. And also, as a side note, I want you to not place so much importance on your family understanding you on like your spiritual journey, right? You don't have to connect on that level. You don't have to talk about every part or every um, thing you're discovering on your spiritual journey. You don't have to connect on that level. So that's the important thing. Like, if wanting to connect with family, connect with them on the things you have in common, keep those things, like more of the spiritual things that you crave to connect with people on, for people that are in that type of community, because you'll feel so much more held and understood. And it's not forever. It doesn't mean that you can't bring this stuff up with your family, but it does make it easier when you are more solid in your own beliefs. As you're just discovering it, you don't feel as strong, you don't feel as secure in it. So it helps to connect with people within that community first until you feel solid in yourself, and then you can talk about it with anyone. So if you're just feeling misunderstood in your family, it's completely normal in your growth journey. Just connect on other things. So that's my little side note right now. Okay. So, a lot of times when I'm working with clients, they're going through these transition phases. They're going through like this discomfort in their life, that they feel like they don't fit in anywhere anymore. They feel like they don't fit in with their friends. They feel like they don't fit in with their family. They feel like they can't be themselves around people, and they have to hide parts of themselves. They feel like they're losing interest in the conversations they have, or how they spend their time with the people around them in their life. And a lot of times it's like they don't want to drink anymore, but their friendships or their relationships in their life, like that's often what the social situations come in. So they're feeling really, really disconnected, and they don't know where to go, and kind of feel like they're the ones going crazy. They also feel kind of like left out of the friendships in some level, or um, like a feeling like people are talking about their behind their backs, or making plans without them. It could come up in so many different ways, but basically they feel like things are changing, and they don't understand where they're going yet. They don't understand what they want yet. So it's a very uncomfortable time. So when you're on that spiritual growth journey, or any kind of growth journey, and your relationships start changing, there's two reasons why. Well, not two reasons why this happens. I'll explain why this happens on two different levels. So there's a practical level of why relationships start to drift apart, and there's the energetic level of why relationships start to drift apart and change. So on the practical level, as you're growing, your standards change, your values change, your desires change, and your goals and what you want for your life change. This means that you are changing, because what needs to happen in order for you to have those desires become a reality, to have those goals become a reality, you need to change. You need to change and be the person that can have that reality, that can hold that reality. You need to show up differently in your life. You need to spend your time differently. So you need to change on like an everyday level. And when you change, that means that parts of your life need to change. They won't fit in anymore. This can be relationships, this can be a job, this can be the spaces you spend time in, it can be the people you spend time with, etc. So things in your environment will need to change. It could be your home needs to change, you need um, a new like energetic level. You need to maybe you need to change the city you live in. So many things need to change as you are deciding that you want new things in your life. And actually, this is one of the big reasons that people hold themselves back from growth and actually going for the life that they want. So they feel that they want, the big, beautiful business, like the deep, loving relationship. They want the friendship connections. They want like the life that lights them up, but they are actually afraid to make the change and make those steps because they feel that fear. They know it deep down inside that things will need to change. And there is a fear of losing people in your life. There's fear of not being accepted by your family. There's fear of losing friendships, and there's fear of losing your partner. That's like the biggest one, because you feel that your partner might not come along with you, which is, it's a possibility. But you also have to choose those desires, choose the life that you want, choose to the growth that you want, and your partner and your people would either come with you and match your new values, match your new standards, or they will fall away, or those relationships will end. And I promise you that if it gets to that space where those relationships do need to end, you will be okay with it. You will be at peace with it, and it will feel totally different than it does right now in the fear thinking about it. So I'll do different episode on partnerships and growth, because this is something I've helped clients through, and I've gone through myself, like through different growth journey and seeing how the relationship grows. I've also helped clients through their growth journey and having relationships fall away. And I promise you, it's okay. But so that is why it happens on a practical level. That is why relationships fall away, or drift apart on a practical level, because you are changing your values, you are changing how you want to spend your time, and that's not going to match with everybody. And that is okay. And that's okay. We can't expect everybody to like match what we want to do, right? We all have our free will and choices. We can go in any direction we want, and everybody is choosing the best direction for them. Everybody is choosing the best reality for them. So we have to honor that and respect each other in our journeys, and not think that our way is more right or anything like that. Which brings me into the energetic level, and something that I want to talk about that's important is one as well. So, on the energetic level, if you are on a growth journey and you are choosing these new um, realities, these new values, you're taking care of yourself. What's happening is that your frequency is raising, your frequency is changing. And when you are in a different frequency from somebody else, when your frequency is far enough apart, it's like you're speaking a different language. So it's almost like you're not understanding each other anymore. You're not understanding your sense of humor, or what you're saying is being received as triggering. you feel like you kind of have to hide parts of yourself. You feel like you're not be safe in disclosing parts of yourself with that person. You feel like it's not safe to share your celebrations or what's going well in your life. It doesn't feel safe with that person. There feels like a discord. So when the frequencies are fallen far enough apart, it there's often so many misunderstandings. That's what it feels like. Like you are saying one thing and they're hearing another, they're receiving another, or they're saying something to you and you don't understand what they mean by that, or you feel like you need to read deeper into their message because you're not getting it. Because when you're in a similar frequency, it kind of just flows. You know what each person means. You're not questioning like the deeper meaning. You're not feeling like there's an ulterior motive. It just kind of, there's more of an ebb and like nice flow to it. So when you're in a higher frequency, it's hard, like as your frequency raises, it's harder to connect. um, and on the other hand, the other person's frequency could be raising and it's harder for you to connect with them. So the way to tell if the other person's frequency is high, like start becoming higher and you're not connecting anymore, is if you are getting like kind of upset that they're changing, or you're feeling left behind, or you're feeling like yeah, kind of like left behind or triggered by them. Yeah, if there's like these triggers coming up, um, or jealousy, things like that. So just pay attention to what's happening. Now, I also want to make an important note here about this whole thing of like frequency and being on a spiritual journey. I don't get into the mindset of I'm growing, I'm at a higher frequency, I'm more involved, so I'm better. Stay away from thoughts like that, because that is the ego talking. Sometimes people get into this spiritual growth journey and you get into a mindset like, oh my gosh, I'm so much better. Like you don't, like on some level you feel that way, but this is ego based. So I want to be very clear that being at a higher frequency and grow, like in your growth, does not mean being better than anybody else, because everyone is exactly where they need to be for their own highest good and the highest good of the people around them. They are exactly where they need to be for the lessons that they are going through, for the life that they desire, for the whole journey of life. They're exactly where they need to be. We are all exactly where we need to be, even if we're feeling uncomfortable right now. So until each person feels that pull that it is time for a change, it is not their time for a change. And they're in the life lessons, and just as you are in your life lessons, right? Like think about it. Think about when you've been in a time where you're so uncomfortable and you're kind of like in a complaining mode and you're feeling stuck, and you just like you want something to like give but you don't know what it is yet. It's being in that state. It's not time yet, but when it is, you'll know and you see the steps. So please don't read too much into that like higher frequency thing. It's just an explanation of how the energetic works. But frequency is like a language, and if someone or something is too far away from our frequency, it's out of our reach. So same thing with if things are a much higher frequency than where we are, they're out of our reach. So that dream life that you have, that is at a higher frequency than where you are right now. That's why you're not there yet, because if you embodied it, you would be much closer to it. So the frequency is like a language, and frequency is like a magnet, and it attracts and helps you notice the people places, things, opportunities, situations that are in a similar frequency as you. It also attracts like the level of enjoyment and abundance that you feel in life. So a higher frequency means like a flowier life full of more ease and just things happening in the right way at the right time, that divine timing kind of feeling, the serendipitous moments, those all happen in a higher frequency. So it's also being in gratitude and in joy in every day while also feeling the like pain and sadness and the lows of being a human, because it's not, we're not bypassing anything, but you're not getting hung up on that pain, you're just kind of moving through it. So we each choose the reality we want to be in based on the thoughts that we choose. But no reality, like based on the thoughts that we choose, based on the desires we have, based on how we match our frequency to that. But no reality is better than another reality. You just choose what's best for you and what you want for your life. And everybody else is choosing what is best for them and what they want for their life. So it's important to not judge others in their journey, just like you do not want to be judged in your journey. So that was a little rambling side note. It's also, so that is the energetic reasons why relationships drift apart. The frequency level and frequency changes, and it's harder to connect to each other if you are too far away from each other's frequency. Matcha break. All right. I'm also working on putting together my evergreen program of The World is Your Mirror, which is all about what our triggers mirror back to us. So this is our relationship triggers. This is, the triggers that will come up in friendships, the triggers that come up in your partnership, like the fights you have with people, the triggers that come up with family, with abundance, with work, everything in your life. We cover how it actually mirrors back to us what we need to look at and change and get out of that victim mode of, everything's happening to me. I'm such a good person. I don't understand why this is going wrong. I'm doing everything right. Getting out of that mode into, okay, what is my part in this? What is it reflecting back to me? What do I need to change and own to actually change the situation so this doesn't keep happening, because it's often repeating patterns. So I did a live round of that program, and we had amazing feedback and such beautiful wins and transformations. So I'm working on putting together the evergreen program, and I'm planning to release that in the next month or so. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to get on my email list, you'll be one of the first ones to know. And there might even be a little like first release discount in there. So you can get on, you can sign up on my email list underneath this episode if you want to. And you'll find out about it when it comes out. Okay, let's also talk about different levels of friendship, how people connect on friend on their friendships, and kind of what the vibrational energy of that is. Like if it's a higher vibration energy or a lower vibration energy. Because you're going to notice that some friendships are no longer feeling right for you. You might not know why. And this might bring some light to that. Okay. So there are the friendships that are connected based on gossip and complaining. So this is, when you get together and just gossip and chat about other people, what other people are doing wrong, doing like having judgments, and connecting on that level. Or you're complaining about something that's going on in your life, or you're complaining about the state of the world and the economy and all of those other things, politics, complaining about things that you don't like in your own life or how you're feeling. So if you are connecting in your friendships based on gossip and complaining, it feels like a connection because together you have this common enemy, but it's actually a very kind of draining relationship because it doesn't actually feel good to your heart and soul to be gossiping and putting other people down, or having kind of fun at the expense of somebody else, or being in that zone of complaining. So this is actually very draining, and this is not a high vibrational relationship, and it's not going to feel good, and you're going to start noticing that it doesn't feel good. And if you're not having anything else to connect with that person except the gossip and complaining, it might be hard to hold on to this kind of relationship. So be aware of that and try to bring in lighter topics. Bring in something fun, bring in something you enjoy. See if you can connect on a new and different level. So just keep that in mind. There's also friendships that you have that you only talk about the past or what you used to do together. So you like talking about the good old days or how things used to be and connecting on that level. That's also a sign that they're not really coming with you in the future, or you're not coming with them in the future. You're not going together in the future because you're in the past together. It's showing that in the present and where you guys want to go, you're not really connecting. You're not really having that much in common. So, again, be mindful of that, be aware of that, and see, like, try to bring something that you connect on, or feel it within yourself. If you don't feel safe talking about those topics, if you don't feel safe showing those parts of yourself or talking about your hopes and dreams, then that's something to take a note of, because your body and your feelings do not lie. So if your body is kind of like rejecting or feeling comfortable around somebody, that's a sign. That's a sign that that is not a right person for you. That's not the right space for you. There's also transactional friendships, which you have to see what you get out of them and if you're feeling like your energy exchange is kind of equal. Uh, Personally, like, these relationships kind of feel tiring to me, but transactional friendships or transactional relationships are basically like, I do this for you, so you do this for me. I check in on you, so you check in on me. I help you with this, so you help me with this. Kind of like that. It's like you kind of keeping track of how much each person is doing. You feel like you have to match each other's energy and basically like show each other love in the same way. So this is so fine if you're matching with somebody that is kind of like the same love language, same type of energy, same everything, and you're like matching on those things, then it works. But if you have like a different language of communication, a different love language, um, different kind of gifts, then it might feel draining to one person. So be mindful of that as well. And then there's like the energy flow friendships. That's what I'm calling them. This is where most of my relationships are right now, which I am really loving. This is a really good space for me. So, this is going with the ebbs and flow of where the energy needs are. So sometimes you will connect with this person and talk a lot and be connecting every day and kind of going through a journey together. And then other times you will take space and you will maybe not talk for a few weeks, maybe not talk for a while. and have kind of this ebb and flow and trust in the relationship that, you're still there, you love each other. You both have to have the secure attachment to be in this space. So if you have like anxious attachment in your relationships, or like avoidant attachment, that's something to work through, um, in the triggers that come in a relationship. So you in these energy flow friendships, you kind of go with the ebbs and flows, and you see each other's unique strengths without need for a straight exchange. So, for example, what my friend would help me through is not the type of energy and like help I would give back, right? Because this is her strength. She has her strengths and her way of seeing the world, and my strengths are different. So I would either be helping her in a different way, or it's trusting the flow that the help I receive I can pass on to another person. It's like the bigger flow, just not just within a friendship, but kind of in the whole flow of right life. So somebody can help me and I can help somebody else that needs help in a similar way down the line. And it just creates this bigger cycle that's bigger than all of us. But there's always something that the person is getting of value from me as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the relationship, right? Or I feel the value that I get from the other person. I feel inspired by them. I look up to certain aspects of them. I admire certain aspects of them. Um, so I think that's really, it's a great place to be in. I'm enjoying these types of friendships. And then there's like the similar goal friendships. So it's just people you connect with because you have similar goals of where you want to go. So this could be like a business friend. You have similar goals in your business. You're both growing a business and you're connecting on that, but you're not connecting on every level. And these are beautiful friendships as well. So basically, what I want to say is the friendships that are connecting on gossip or complaining or just being stuck, like talking about the past, they might be representing a past version of you and they might feel tiring. But if you're connecting with friendships based on what your values and goals are right now, things you want to work through in the future, you have similar goals that you're working through together. Those are friendships of like the present and future, and those might lift you up more. So just be mindful of how you're feeling in each relationship, in each encounter, and trust yourself. I know there is guilt that comes up, or you're feeling bad um, because you love your people and you love your friends, and you're feeling bad when you're noticing that you're starting to feel uncomfortable or not safe or not yourself in those relationships, and you're not sure what to do. So, but just be honest with yourself, and you don't have to make any decisions. Just be aware and go with the flow. I will also say that if a friendship has come near its end and it is kind of time for it to drift apart or fade away, the more you fight it, there's no way of stopping it, basically, is what I'm saying. And the more you fight it, the messier it's going to get. So, kind of trust that feeling of drifting away and honor it, because if you like fight it and try to grasp on, the way it falls away is going to be messier and more painful. I was going to say something else, but it just dropped out of my brain. This baby brain thing is serious. Okay, so what happens basically as you start changing and you're feeling your friendships change? People around you will feel that you're changing on that energetic level and may not understand exactly what is happening on a logical level, and they start to push back. So, this is when people in your life start saying things like, "You've changed. You're so different now. I feel like I don't know you anymore." Like it's a, like it's a bad thing. Like, "You're so different now. I feel like I don't know you anymore." Like we're meant to stay the same in all our lives, but it'll be comments like that, or kind of making fun of you in the way you're choosing your new boundaries, or like what you're saying now, or just the changes you're presenting. They'll be kind of like making fun of you. And I'm gonna tell you this: if somebody is further along than you, they're never gonna make fun of you. They're never gonna put you down like that. So it's that feeling when people feel like you're drifting apart from them. They might fight back, and this is how it comes out. This is how it comes out, and it can come out in your family, in your friendships, in your partnership. So some signs that friendships are drifting apart: talking only about the past or things that you used to do together, feeling unsafe or like you don't want to share things happening in your life, like the good news, feeling like you have to hide parts of yourself, or like you have to censor what you're saying. Bird just flew by. Um, Feeling uncomfortable and not sure why, or feeling like they're talking behind your back. If you're feeling uncomfortable, like your body never lies. So also not being interested in the things that bonded you before anymore. So like drinking, the partying, the way whatever you would do to spend time together. If you're not interested in those things anymore, that makes it harder. Feeling this feeling in your body, like when you see a message like, "Oh, I don't want to answer," or feeling like you don't want to go out to those plans. Again, your body never lies. You feel like you're not being yourself, and you also feel like you kind of started to do things to please the other person. And when relationships start to drift away, it can bring up a lot of pain and a lot of unknowns and a lot of beliefs. So it can bring up things like thoughts like, "I don't fit in anywhere. Is there something wrong with me? Everyone else seems to get it. Why can't I? Am I doing something wrong? I'm the problem. No one understands me. No one will. Like, I'm never going to find the place where I fit in. Like, maybe I'm the crazy one." All things like that, this will bring up. But these are just thoughts and fears and beliefs, and they're actually very important to look at because they're holding you back and holding you back from finding your people. And it can also bring up those triggers in your attachment style. It could bring up your anxious attachment style. It can bring up your avoidant attachment style. It can bring up all of these things. So whenever these triggering situations come up, it is so important to look at them. It is so important to be honest yourself and clear them out, address them, so you're not taking them with you in your future relationships, in your other new friendships. And it's also good to keep in mind that not all friendships are the same, and they're not all meant to be lifelong in our life. So we're meant to have friendships and people in our lives that are there for a longer time, that have a big impact. And there are friendships and people that are just meant to come for a small period of our lives. And they will teach us the lessons that we need. They will bring the value that we need at that time. They will have a big impact on our lives. They're just meant to be there for a short amount of time. And we need to honor that. And it doesn't make them any less important, any less special, any less valuable. It doesn't mean there's any like less love, but some relationships are just meant to be there for a short amount of time, and we really, really have to honor that and like not try to hold on and grasp onto things because it just gets messy and painful. So be mindful of that. Just allow friendships to run their course. Honor that some friends are just there for a little bit, and they're still like little angels that come help us through something. So, what to do to call in more aligned friendships? Okay, so as friendships fall away, you will have new friendships come in, but you do have to let go of the previous relationships in order to even have space for the new relationship. So be honest with yourself if you're feeling the friendships drift apart and let go of that fear. But you do have to let go of the relationship in order to have space for a new one. I'm going to tell you, like right now, you only really have space for 5 close relationships in your life, in your daily life. You only really have space for 5 close relationships. And your partner and your kids are going to be in that. It's like your daily encounters. And other than that, you don't have like much more mental capacity to hold someone in that way. So you have 5 close people, and then you have like more people in your vicinity, but the one like the close to you, the everyday ones, you only really have space for 5. So be mindful of that. Who do you want in like those five people? So if you are holding on to relationships that are trying to fall away and drift apart and make space, then you're not having space for somebody else new to come in that can match you in a way that you want to be matched right now, that can provide you the support or whatever the inspiration that you're craving right now, that can be in a similar frequency as you. So you're not going to have space for that if you're holding on to other relationships that are no longer fitting. So you have to let go first for a new relationship to come in. So as you're noticing your friendships drift apart, notice the pain and the beliefs that are bringing up that they're popping up, and do what you can to clear that out. This is something I can help you with, but you can also do it on your own. Just get your journal out and start reflecting. Do what you get to the bottom of it. Do what you can to clear that out. And then reflect on your new values and what type of friendships you want in your life. So reflect on how you want to feel. What do you want to connect on? What do you want the dynamics to be? What would make this friend feel like a safe space? How do you want to be valued? What do you want to be seen as? What strengths do you want to be celebrated? How do you want to feel, and how much, like, kind of, even how much time you want the relationship to require? You could put anything in here. And then just put that out there and just leave it. Just write it out, and then just go about your days and your journeys. And I promise you, your new people will come, you will pop up, you'll find them when you're going out for coffee, you'll come across new communities, you'll see someone on Instagram that you feel like reaching out to, and you're going to connect. Your people are not going to miss you, but they're not going to pass you by. But you do need to have that space in your life in order to even notice that person. Because if you are too busy and too full right now, you don't have time, space, energy to even look around. You don't have space in your life for them. So just be aware of that. And I know that friendship changes and dynamics are so hard. I don't want to minimize this. There are really hard journeys in our life. I went through friendships drifting apart. I went through friendship breakups that felt heartbreaking and left me feeling anxious and questioning my life and if I'm a good person or not, and all of these things. But those were important times, and questioning ourselves is actually a powerful place to be, because when you get to the bottom of it, when you go through it, you really become stronger in who you are, you become stronger in your values, you become stronger in your authenticity. And each time I was brave enough to let go and just let it change, new relationships flourished that brought exactly what I needed, that connected really, really quickly. And I was actually amazed by how it came together. So it's just my message to you to, trust your journey. And I know it can feel lonely, but your people are out there. And again, some relationships are meant to be there for a long time, and some are transient, and that is okay. They're important. If they're coming to an end, it means that you both received what you needed from it. So, from a higher perspective, you just like met together, you helped each other out, you were there for each other through whatever journey it was that you needed to be together for. And now it's time for them to go help and connect with somebody else. And you go and help and connect with somebody else. And it's actually a beautiful process when you look at it in this way. So I know friendships are a big topic. There's so much more we could even talk about this on this, but I hope this brought some peace to you, that it brings some deeper understanding to you, and that it allows you to just trust yourself and your feelings, and trust as you're feeling things drift apart and as you're feeling that discomfort. Trust that it's there for a reason. Look into it, be aware of it. You don't have to make any decisions right now. Like, it's not like a statement that you have to make, but just be aware of it and notice as things play out, because the universe does this for you automatically. It changes your relationships for you automatically. When you just have awareness around what is happening, it really does help the process. All right. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your week, and we'll be back soon with more podcast episodes.